Dan here. He had his first Ramon Allones 82. Unfortunately, it was plugged.
This one is
so it's not a problem. At least he didn't smoke the whole box and said I didn't like it. So.
Well, we can do that too, AJ.
This draw is effortless. This is great. This is the perfect draw. I'm excited about this one.
Good. So you can reassess your...
Start from scratch.
Yeah, start from scratch.
Thank you, AJ.
Good. Michael, what are you smoking there?
This is the Punch Dunhill Seleccion Suprema number 192. It's excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
A little sweet, a little woody,
Uh-huh.
touch floral, pretty full bodied.
Yeah.
It's a very good cigar. Perfect burn, good texture.
Good. Yeah.
It's great.
A long finish? Is it a short finish?
Thanks, Adam.
It's at least a 30 to 45 second finish. It's a good long finish. It coats.
Coats, yeah.
It starts to coat your palate
Yeah,
when you smoke it.
Has anybody got an RJ 100 then? Yeah. Okay. What do we have there? You've got a...
I've got a punch.
You got a punch
192.
Okay.
Agree with Michael. Nice finish. Real nice little bit of floral, some wood. I get a little tiny bit of bittersweet chocolate out of it.
Right.
Just an excellent cigar.
Fantastic.
Just effortless draw.
Yeah.
But just a tiny bit of restriction, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just.
It's amazing how they did that. The cabinets do produce a slight restriction, don't they? You know, it makes you pull a bit more harder than the box press. The box press can be very easy draw.
And of course, with a cigar like this, I always punch it. So I restrict just a little bit of the flow, and Michael did the same thing.
Yeah, I punched this one. Usually I cut, but I figured I'd try a little something.
Yeah. I think punching is good. You know, because it does restrict you and it does build up the flavors coming down.
The problem is if you get a really strong cigar and you punch it, or a fresher cigar,
you just get the tar built up.
You get that build up, and you get, when you get halfway through,
yeah.
You either got to recut it or put it down.
Yeah.
That's why with this specific cigar, I cut it, because I knew that if I punched it, it's already a dense, heavy cigar, and you're going to get that consolidation near the end. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I want it even all on the
all
sides. Whereas with the punch hole, it'll put it in that little hole coming out. It would be too focused.
Yeah.
Where you'd miss out on all the sides and the oil wrappers.
Yeah.
Through that draw.
Yeah.
You want that evenness, because this is such a dense, heavy cigar to begin with.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that.
No.
You want to keep the flavors true through the whole cigar.
Yeah.
It's going to get progressively heavier.
Fantastic. And you have the 192, yeah?
Yeah, it's 192. Very dense, heavy cigar. Perfect for steak dinner.
Yeah.
That is the perfect
amazing cigar.
Alan?
Wow.
Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. It is morning.
It is.
It's AM. There's a version of this that happens twice a day.
What are we smoking there, Alan?
We are smoking an RYJ Dunhill Super Selection, number 100, from the 60s. A very well box-pressed cigar.
Yeah.
Square.
With a lot of nice oil, a lot of the smoothness of the wrapper, velvet texture, almost
This is
minor hairs texture.
It's crazy because when I open old pipe tobacco, Michael just came up with something. If you look in the sun,
And
perfect construction.
you're seeing those
to-
silver crystals that have materialized on that wrapper.
The firmness, compact,
And
all the
because of
leaves.
that oil,
There really doesn't seem to be anything. Having a little bit of burn
I'll tell you what, I've seen bloom and
developing here.
boxes
Yeah.
that I've opened.
May go away without any touch-up.
Yeah. Is that because we're smoking it outside, or?
I think we got a little bit of the outside, the way I've been keeping the
this is
cigar
almost-
turned generally.
Yeah.
That oil,
But we also do have, there's a vein coming down, so it might just be a little bit of different burn here. I never really think anything of a
versus the
burn that starts doing that.
Yeah.
This is normal,
Yeah.
par for the course.
And how's the flavor?
Very rich palate coating. just builds. Right now it's pretty much just on the front and middle of the tongue from side to side. Saturation in the sinuses from top to bottom. It's hitting every part except probably the spiciness is not smacking on the lips. The roof of palate, I haven't gotten any. I got a little bit of sweetness at one point, but not a lot. The back of tongue, that area, actually not hitting that area so much. It's got sometimes the finish is short, sometimes it extends, but really mostly it depends on how you smoke it.
Yeah.
How I nurse, how I bring the smoke. If I roll it up in the nose, back down, the speed, how much I go ahead and exhale out of my mouth before a little nose. You can extract the flavors in several different dimensions out of this thing. It's not changing flavors with every puff quite as much as I have seen with some others, but not typically with the Dunhill. The Dunhills tend to be a bit more, I guess off the top of my head, continuous in consistency, maybe a little more than some other RYJ 70s, 60s era. But RYJ covers such a broad, incredibly broad land of flavors.
Yeah.
From Clemenceau's, Casa Reales, anything, RYJ Corona, Petit Corona from the 80s. I mean, there's so many different flavor areas there in those cigars, to me, that this thing just kind of falls.
Well, next time, just call me.
It falls into what I've seen a lot of the Dunhills seem to kind of get this way. But I have not smoked that many RYJ Dunhill.
Right.
More than a couple, 3 different Vitolas.
It doesn't have as much of the little. There's a tiny bit, but not as much.
It's an incredibly enjoyable cigar.
Fantastic. I'll let you carry on.
Thank you so much.
Great. Great to share. Hey Dan, back to you.
Perfect draw. The absolute perfect draw.
Good. And how are we doing with the flavors on that?
This is one of the best tasting cigars I've ever had. It's so sweet, and like Alan was saying, this one here is really palate coating as well. It's like the pace of this one is a nice, slow, long pull off of it. Pounding it would be an injustice, but a nice, slow, long draw, and it's just so. I had to add an extra category in a row.
Good. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'll have a read. I'll have a read. And then if it needs to be added in for good, I'll add it in another box.
I just threw sweet in there because it is, it's like candy.
Yeah.
It's so good. This is one of my very few experiences with an aged Romeo.
Fantastic.
Thank you, AJ.
Good.
So AJ, something else Ron and I were chatting about is you're not going to be able to capture it on the camera, but if you kind of hold the cigar up to the light and you look very closely just at the edge, you can just see those little crystals on there.
Yes, you can. You can, can't you? And unfortunately, you guys were not able to see it on the camera, so you've missed out. Just enjoy what we have in here. But I can see those crystals there. That's amazing, isn't it? It's beautiful. Like little hairs sticking up.
Exactly.
And cigar flavored candy.
That is different. These cigars have aged so well.
Yeah.
Because of those crystals. A lot of times when cigars age in a cab or a box, you'll see bloom. You'll see it almost like dust as I've opened old 60s and 50s boxes. But this cigar, for its age, is just... It's been in perfect humidification and perfect temperature, and it's just matured where you have those little hairs and crystals, and they're like little diamonds. If you as the sun came up and you look at it, it's just a beautiful thing.
And now I pulled mine from the middle of the cab. Where'd you pull yours from?
I pulled mine from the top of the cab.
So it's pretty consistent through.
Yeah. And
you both tried each other's out as well?
Yeah.
And same?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something.
It's a little bit spicier, I think.
I think it's a little bit spicy. I said about 10%, and I'm doing percentages on the sheet rather than just what it is.
Fantastic.
I get a little bit of floral. I get a hint of that bittersweet chalk off it, and just a couple seconds ago I got a little bit of nutty taste out of it, and just extremely enjoyable.
Fantastic. Standing behind you, Michael, the aroma that's coming to me now. Understanding, I've only had a couple of puffs. I haven't had a cigar today. I'm just walking around smelling the aroma, and it is just phenomenal.
It's intoxicating.
Oh, I tell you what, if we were in an enclosed room right now, it'll be, you know, 3 most sexiest women have entered this room, and our jaws just dropped with the scent they give out. Oh, it is phenomenal.
You know, I gotta say, a lot of this has to do also with storage and you know,
definitely.
the provenance and how well the cigar. I mean, these cigars are, you know, 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've all had plenty of cigars of that age that just haven't held up. These clearly, you know, is evidenced by just, you know, how perfect they are, by the crystals, how well they're smoking.
Yeah.
You
need to make a trip to London to see how I store them now.
Absolutely.
Oh,
you know,
I'll make a trip.
I've had these 6, 7 years now, and with the new shop, with the new private humidor that we have downstairs, it's, for me, it's one of the top rooms, I think, in London. There's a lot of guys that have visited all the other shops, naming no names, you know, when they visit the shop that we have and they see how we keep the cigars downstairs, it's just, you walk into the room and it hits you, you know.
Isn't that the best smell in the world? When you open up the humidor and there's that cedar and that leathery tobacco smell.
Exactly, and I have all that, which is just brilliant. And it's cool in there as well. It's between 16 to 17 degrees in temperature, with between 62 and 64 in humidity.
Perfect. What this thing's going to taste like.
Yeah.
You know, you're biased.
Yeah.
And you know, I realized I was talking that this thing. I mean, this thing's evolved just for as short of a cigar as it is.
Yeah.
And that is always kind of the magic, is letting the cigar take you on the journey instead of trying to take the cigar.
Yeah. Fantastic. Gents, enjoy.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, this is what they call a bacon here.
Now, is this that you never had? You did that last night.
Can't take me anywhere.
I would like to do that. That was one amazing tasting of the vintage 3 Dunhill cigars. Now, off to New York for our part 4. See you soon. Thank you all for watching. Hasta luego.